What's going on, everybody? Steve V here with another video. Hope everybody's doing well out there. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a countdown video. I'm going to be counting down from my least played cabinet all the way up to my most played cabinet. So altogether, I have 12 3/4 scale cabinets, one 2-player countercade, and one pinball machine. So 14 Arcade1Up products in total. So I'm going to start with number 14, which is my least played cabinet, and work my way up to number 1. I did a countdown like this last year, and what came in at number 1 was my Bandai Namco Legacy Cab, which is the Pac-Man cabinet. So it'll be very interesting to see if that maintains its spot and comes in at number 1, because there has been quite a few changes since I did that video. So we'll start right now. And like I said, I'll start with number 14, and number 14 is my least played cabinet. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get it started. So what comes in at number 14 is my NBA Jam 2-player countercade. Now, the only reason this comes in at number 14 is because I've only had this cabinet for 2 weeks, so I've barely played it. I've maybe played it twice. 3 great NBA Jam games on this cabinet, and I have a feeling the more time that goes by, the more it'll start working its way up the list. As a cabinet, I play quite a bit. So what comes in at number 13 will actually shock quite a few people. It's my Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet. And the reason this comes in at number 13 is just because I suck at fighting games. It has the Wi-Fi, so I've played against people online quite a few times, and I usually get my ass kicked pretty fast. When I play against the computer, I do a little bit better, but usually I still lose. It's got 4 great fighters on there, and then 1 console game, which I kind of wish they didn't throw on there. But either way, the 4 fighting games are actually quite fun. It's just, I suck at them, so I don't come to this cabinet as often as I probably would if I was a little bit better at fighters. So what comes in at number 12 is my Street Fighter 2 Capcom Legacy cabinet. This cabinet's amazing, 12 great games. The only reason it comes in at number 12 is because lately I've just been playing Final Fight on it, and then basically once I'm done playing Final Fight, I kind of move on to the next cabinet. But there are 12 great games on this cabinet. 1944, which the Attract mode is playing right now. Great game. Strider. All the Street Fighter games on here are great. But right now, Final Fight seems to be the main game I play. And then after that, I just move on to the next one. So that's why it's at number 12. So what comes in at number 11 is my Mortal Kombat 2 Midway Legacy cabinet. 12 great games on this cabinet. But it's kind of going through the exact same thing that my Capcom Legacy is going through, and that is I'm only coming to this cabinet for 1 game. And believe it or not, that game is Bubbles. I'm really enjoying playing Bubbles on this cabinet. Sometimes I'll play Rampage or Gauntlet as well. The Mortal Kombat games get a lot of play when people come over. But for the most part, I just kind of come to this cabinet to play Bubbles right now. But I come quite often, so that's why it's at number 11. It's a cabinet that I do come to kind of down the line, but when I do get to it, it's Bubbles that I play. So what comes in at number 10 is my Turtles in Time cabinet. Now this is a childhood dream for me, having this cabinet in my possession. It's got the 2 Ninja Turtle arcade games on it, the original Ninja Turtles and Turtles in Time. And this cabinet is really getting quite a bit of play just because of the online feature. You're able to play with people that also have the cabinet. I had the original Turtles cabinet that didn't have the online feature, and I would mainly play that maybe once every 2 or 3 months. This one, I'm playing about once a month. So it's definitely getting more play now that it has the online feature. And just a blast to play with people. So what comes in at number 9 is the Simpsons cab. Now this cabinet has 2 games. The Simpsons arcade game, which you can play online with people, and Simpsons Bowling, which to me is the real seller. I was just playing Simpsons Bowling the other day with my cousin, and we had a blast. So that kind of makes this cabinet a cabinet that you come back to quite often. The Simpsons arcade game is really fun. but after you kind of play through it, you're going to give some time in between. But Simpsons Bowling, you're definitely going to come back and play quite often. And that's why it kind of itches out the Turtles by a hair, is because of Simpsons Bowling. I just come and play that a little bit more often than I go back and play the two Turtles games. So what comes in at number 8 is the old number 1, my Bandai Namco Pac-Man cabinet. Now the reason this comes in at number 8 is because the cabinet right beside it, the class of 81, has a lot of the games that are on this Bandai Namco Legacy cab. So I tend to play them a little bit more on there because there's also leaderboards, online leaderboards. So this one doesn't have that ability, unfortunately. It's still a great cabinet, and there's still 6 games on here that are not on the class of 81 that I do play from time to time. Pac-Man, Pac-Man Plus, Pac-and-Pal, Super Pac-Man, games like that. A lot of the Pac-Man games. So this cabinet is still one of my favorites, but it has gone down as far as how often I play it, just because of the class of 81 and some of the other cabinets that I have that tend to take my attention more now. So what comes in at number 7 is my shooting cab, my Big Buck World / Big Buck Hunter cab. This is a phenomenal cab and really fun to play when guests come over. I also added an extra little riser there to bring it to a height that I felt this cabinet should have been at to begin with. And then I also added this light up marquee from Retro 530 that really makes the cabinet look more complete. Phenomenal cabinet, 4 great Big Buck Hunter games, but Big Buck Hunter Pro is the game that I play the most on this cabinet. So coming in at number 6 is my Ridge Racer cabinet. Now this cabinet is such a blast to play. It's actually one of my newer cabinets, but it's been getting so much play that it's made it to number 6 on my list. My family was over the other day and they played it. I've been playing it. Ridge Racer kind of has a special place in my heart because I used to work at the movie theaters when I was a teenager, and they had Ridge Racer there. So I remember hearing that song, constantly playing the Attract Mode song, and I just really enjoy the 5 games on this cabinet. 3 of them have that rumble ability, so when you're playing, the steering wheel will do the little shake there. It's just a great cabinet, and I'm really happy having it part of my collection. So coming in at number 5 is my Golden Tee cab. This is a great cabinet, especially when friends come over. Me and my one buddy play quite a bit when he's here. Really fun cabinet. I do know that they have the upgraded version that also has bowling and shuffle shot on it. I am interested in that cabinet if it goes down in price. I live here in Canada, so it's $8.99 plus tax. So that's a little past my comfort level as far as price for cabinets. So if it ever goes on sale, I might upgrade this one for that one. But the 4 Golden Tee games that are on this particular cabinet, I'm getting a lot of replay value from. And that's why it's at number 5. It gets played a lot. So coming in at number 4 is the Tempest Atari Legacy cabinet. It has 12 great games. All score chasers. That seems to be what I've really been enjoying playing lately, is these score chasers. I play a lot of Centipede, Millipede. Those are my 2 favorite Atari games. I've been playing Crystal Castles quite a bit. Asteroids Deluxe. Just a lot of great games on this cabinet. This cabinet also has the spinner, which I only have 1 cabinet with that spinner. So offers something unique. It's got the trackball. I do have a couple trackball cabinets, but still really fun having that trackball for these games. It's got a great form factor. It's just a cabinet that I'm really happy to own, and a cabinet that's getting a lot of play right now. So coming in at number 3 is my Attack from Mars virtual pinball machine with the 30 game mod. So I have my 10 Attack from Mars games that came on this pinball machine, but then I also have the 10 Marvel games and the 10 Star Wars games. So there's so much replay ability with this pinball machine. Right now, I'm mostly playing the Marvel pinball games, Spider-Man in particular, but I'm also playing a lot of Attack from Mars. That's the main game that I do play on this cabinet. I also love Tales of Arabian Nights. I just been really getting a lot of play from a lot of these pinball games that are on here now. With 30 games, I mean, it's impossible to get bored. So many great games to play. But the main game that I do play is Attack from Mars. That's the game that I was playing from day one when I bought this pinball machine. And it's the game that still gets the most play. So my second most played cabinet is my Frogger cabinet. Now I know this cabinet is a cabinet that's gotten a lot of heck from the community. A lot of people were pissed about the song being different and the cabinet looking different. But honestly, this cabinet is a blast to play. I still enjoy playing the Frogger game, even though the song is different. But that changed quite a while ago. That wasn't an Arcade1Up thing. That was something that was changed a long time ago due to licensing. I want to say maybe 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it has been a while. As far as the look of the cabinet being different, I do understand that was something that maybe didn't have to change, especially since Arcade1Up is working with both Konami and Sega. And I think Sega had something to do with that old artwork, so maybe they could have worked something out. But it is what it is. The 3 games on this cabinet are still a blast to play. Every time I come down here, I end up playing Frogger at some point, Time Pilot, and Time Pilot 84. All 3 games on this cabinet get a ton of play. So that's why it's at number 2. I just love this cabinet. A lot of people kind of joke around with me because sometimes I'll say like, oh, I want this one cabinet, but I have to sell something. Everybody's always like, just sell Frogger. And I always tell them, hell no, Frogger is not going anywhere. I love this cabinet, and it's one of my most played, and that's why it's at number 2. So what comes in at number 1 as my most played cabinet is my Miss Pac-Man Galaga Class of 81 cabinet. Now this cabinet, in my opinion, is the most well-rounded Namco cabinet that Arcade1Up has come out with. It also has the light up deck protector, as you can see there. I have it lit up as white. Unfortunately, you can see some fingerprints sometimes, but in the dark, it actually looks quite well. I love this cabinet. It's the cabinet that I come to first, and just within the 12 games that are on this cabinet, I usually end up playing it for about a half an hour. I mean, there's so many great games to play. I usually start with Miss Pac-Man, then I play Galaga, then Galaga 88, then Rally X, then Dig Dug 2, Mappy, Rolling Thunder, and so on. I usually end up playing all 12 games at some point. And the fact that it has the online leaderboard so you can see other people's scores, it really just gives you the motivation to play this cab and try to strive to get on the top 10 list. I don't know if I'll ever make it to the top 10, but just having that thing of trying makes it so much fun to play. It beats out my Pac-Man cabinet. Pac-Man was at number 1 last year, and like I was saying when I was talking about the Pac-Man cab, a lot of those games that were on that cabinet are on this cabinet, but you have that online leaderboard to just make you want to play it a little bit more. And Miss Pac-Man is literally probably my favorite game. So it's just a cabinet that I always come to and will always come to. So that's why it's my number 1. It's the new champ and the most played cabinet in my Man Cave arcade. I hope you guys enjoyed this countdown. I really enjoyed doing it. And I look forward to doing the next countdown, maybe in a year or so, to see what the new number 1 is. Or will the class of 81 retain the championship? It'll be really interesting to see. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Have a great day.